In this second episode, you're coming with us from Nicaragua up to Texas. We'll walk you through what it actually feels like to travel for a tournament, how we prepare, and what went down at World Championships in Dallas. You'll also get inside 2 training sessions we had with Loyd and Austin Bricker. Real coaching, real drills, and things you can use in your own game. Let's get into it. We started hitting the road for pickleball tournaments about a year ago, and the first thing we learned is that you need a routine. Diet, sleep, stretching, mobility. If neglected, you pay for it on the court. Long travel days throw you off, so we always try to get in a few days early, settle in, and get our bodies right again. This time we set up shop in Austin. We got in a few drill sessions and had some fun 4.5 level open play at places like Urban Pickleball and the Pickler. These were good, honest 4.5 level drilling days. Exactly what we needed before heading into Dallas.
With 3 of us on this trip, Jeremy, Abigail, and me, many of our practice sessions involve 3-person drills. They can be great, particularly when you're the solo player. You get a ton of reps, and it feels like live match pressure. Heading into this tournament, our plan was simple. Be comfortable at the kitchen and trust in our soft game in the transition zone. No trying to hit winners from bad positions. Just disciplined, patient movement, and working to control the rally by applying different types of pressure on the opponent. At 4-5 and above, you generally win at the kitchen, so everything we drilled pointed toward that idea. Earn the line first and attack later. Be calm at the kitchen once you get there, yet still ready to move. On my wrist injury, I'd say I was about 95% recovered going into the tournament. I didn't really start hitting again until the week before competing, and it's been clear since then that the ligaments still aren't fully healed. What I've learned is that I can't take shortcuts anymore. The exercises Kevin Malone gave me aren't just for rehab, they really need to be part of my life going forward. And the bigger realization is that the injury wasn't just about the wrist. Poor conditioning through my core, limited mobility in my spine and shoulders, those weaknesses forced me to generate power with my wrist in places where I shouldn't. So the rehab protocol now has 2 sides. In the gym, I work on joint space, mobility, and strength in my thoracic spine, cervical spine, shoulders, and hips. On court, I'm re-engineering my technique. I'm adjusting my grip and my strokes. Where I'd normally have extreme preloaded wrist pronation, I'm now moving to a more neutral wrist position. It's forcing me to rethink how I move, even how I breathe, and how I generate power in my strokes. I'm getting lower, moving better, and using my core. Back on the court, Austin Bricker stepped in with some valuable corrections, dialing in our kitchen play with refined movements, smarter shot selections, and being comfortable with step-back dinking. All things that we need to advance our game.
So we'll talk about footwork real quick. I saw pretty good footwork. One thing I would try to utilize more is the step back. Okay, that whole step back technique. If the ball is jamming you at the feet and you don't have time to take it out of the air, or you're off balance where you can't take it out of the air, the whole slide back is going to help you keep that point neutral to where you're not going to be on defense. Okay, you're going to find yourself popping up less. If we step back, let that ball travel a little bit more, it's going to give you time to soften it back up and get into position. This is something I teach everybody here because I think footwork is so important. Obviously, me as a player, I don't move my feet a lot, but I feel like when the time comes, I'm ready because I know exactly what to do when the ball is coming to me. Either step back or either stay there and take it out of the air. My goal when I'm at the kitchen line is to try to stay as open as possible towards my opponents. Try not to cross my feet too much, okay, unless I really have to. Like whatever we were just doing there, if someone hits an aggressive dink at wide, I'm trying to cut that off. If not, then I need to slide and shuffle real quick to keep that ball at least in front of me. Okay, so for me personally, I'm trying to stay open, slide and shuffle, and then get my weight. Because one, I'm using this outside leg as a push off back to position. Okay, if I'm doing this, then I'm gonna find myself a little bit screwed, and it's gonna be harder to get back real fast. Okay, staying open, using the step back, trying to take balls out of the air. If you take the balls out of the air, you're not going to have to move as much. Okay, so you get to stay in position. So that's another thing that you all should work on, is how to move it out of the air. Okay.
It becomes super obvious when you're taking everything out of the air, and it kind of like builds on it, because like you take one out of the air and you give it a bit of pressure, and then they're like stepping back and hitting off their back foot, and then you're taking the next one and
it's a good feeling.
start moving
When you're toying with them. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Why don't we hit a few? Okay.
We can do like a little bit, yeah.
Let's do a little bit. Your legs are going to be sore tomorrow with all this moving. Okay, so I'll be dinking against you two. I'm going to be trying to move you guys around like crazy without me moving that much. Okay? So I'm going to try to stay as open as possible unless you hit like a crazy dink over here. And like I said, when I have to reach real quick to get it, that's like usually the only time. But I want y'all to watch how much I can move you guys by taking out of the air. Okay? Nice. Oh. Nice. Uh-oh. Clip it. That's my favorite shot in the world. Nice. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Nice. Nice. Good. Nice.
No, that's...
Last one.
Oh.
So you guys were taking them out of the air, which is good, which is what I want. I wasn't doing too much over there because you were applying pressure by just taking it out of the air. So it was hard for me to push you off because you are already taking them out of the air. But as soon as I got that opportunity to take it out of the air and bounce it, like that last point, then I kept going there and pushing you back and back.
I kept going further.
Okay, and then it popped up, and then I went exactly where you weren't. Okay, so you did a good job at protecting that line whenever I went there by taking it out of the air. You did good at staying in the cross-court battle. Okay, I tried to mix it up. I was able to hit you a couple times with one out of the air because maybe you cheated a little bit too much towards the middle. Again, you know, taking it out of the air keeps you on the line. You're not going to find yourself under pressure as much. I would say about 60% of that, 70% of that, I felt like I had full control. Obviously, I had more space to hit into, but whenever I hit it out of the air, I was able to really push you guys around, I feel like. There was like one time where you cross-stepped. That was totally fine. Other than that, you guys stayed open. Yeah, I mean, I feel like your footwork is very good when your dinks are under control. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the point from the last drill we were doing it. We started hitting like these just like crazy, like not even spin, just pace on the dinks. And then we were like mixing ourselves up.
Yeah, you guys were scrambling yourselves around.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were hitting the ball so hard trying to get those angles to where you weren't giving yourself enough time to
get back before
at least
they're hitting
get back or balanced. Okay, not even necessarily get back, but even balanced. Okay, I felt like when we were doing that first drill, you guys were just unbalanced the whole time. So the whole thing of controlled dinks will kind of leak in and make sense once we talk about footwork. But yeah, staying open, taking it out of the air, moving the ball around it, under control. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see you guys having a big problem with that, so A+. Okay.
A quick interruption to tell you about our newsletter, The Palmera Perspective. you can get subscribed over at palmerapickleball.com. Take that opportunity now and head on over, enter your email address, and on that newsletter you'll get access to insider knowledge of our developments as we build out the venue inside of Rancho Santana. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to your video.
About 4,000 players showed up for the PPA Tour's 2025 World Championships. This was the third year at Brookhaven Country Club, and the atmosphere was exciting. If you haven't been to a major tournament like this, they're a blast. We arrived the day before competing to watch the pros play round of 16. Thanks to our friends at John's Design and Consulting, we had VIP passes, which gave us a front row view of the pros on championship court all week and kept us out of the Texas sun between our matches. In singles, I went 2-2. I'm genuinely happy with how my singles game is progressing. At the 4.5 level, especially with the lifetime ball, which bounces a little higher, you have to assume every opponent can hit passing shots. So my plan was simple: stay disciplined at baseline and only come up to the net on the right ball. My two-handed backhand felt great that day, and I was able to hit strong passing shots from both forehand and backhand in my matches.
I hit the tape 3 times. Third time it hit the tape and did that thing where it hits and bounces up and then falls on the same side of the net.
Yeah.
And then I skipped off the tape and I went deep like that. And then late in the match I was hitting those down the line winners. I hit 2 clean winners on them or so, and then had them reach and miss 2 or 3. And then I had the angle work. I gotta work on that angle, but I gotta do what Hunter does and come over the ball. That's what's missing. Not the follow through needs to be ugly. Too much of that right now, which is good for down the line, except even my down the line, I was doing this thing where I'm going like this. I gotta figure that out. I don't know. It's not up here. I'll just rotate the body more and finish up here. But the deep, not really a deep two, it wasn't really cross either, but where I would scoop around the outside of the ball. See that one? Yeah. I hit 2 or 3 on him there. I would serve wide and then hit that shorter angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard him after and he said, it's too good.
Yeah, it's a nice shot.
In doubles, my dad and I went 0-2. Not what we wanted. We win at this level in rec play, but tournaments demand a different level of composure and decision making. We weren't patient enough, and we paid for it. We forced attacks from the transition zone that weren't there, and that cost us rallies we should have managed better. When we realized this, we made some changes to our strategy, but my dad still had to play conservatively with his wrist injury. Because of that, we stacked with him on the right instead of his usual left side roll. It threw off our rhythm more than we expected. Still, this was our first time competing at 4.5 together. We're making real gains every month, and we know we'll be back at this level soon with better execution and conditioning.
We walked away from Dallas with plenty to think about. The game keeps evolving. Betting is now part of the pro landscape, and the PPA is raising prize money next year to increase competitive tension across the board. And yet, pickleball still holds on to its laid-back culture. People are approachable, the pros mix with the crowd, the whole environment feels warm and inviting. When you watch the very best at these tournaments, Ben Johns, Annalee Waters, it becomes obvious these pros are operating with a deeper set of tools. At the highest levels, the sport is all about patterns, probabilities, and the discipline to execute the right decision in the moment. The top pros don't just play better, they see the game differently. They play smarter. That realization has pushed Jeremy and me to raise our own standards. If we want to get to 5.0, our practice sessions have to become more deliberate, more technical, more thoughtful. Dallas made that clear to us.
After the tournament, we headed back to Austin for a few more days of training before flying home to Nicaragua. The goal was to sharpen the key takeaways from Dallas and get focused reps while everything was still fresh. We had some time on court with Michael Loyd, who had just come off his World Championships run in men's doubles. He and Martin Emmerich faced Ben Johns and Gabe Tardio in the quarterfinals, so hearing his perspective on that match was cool. Michael also showed us a transition zone shot called bunting.
I think people are way too concerned with trying to hit a reset and transition in the kitchen, okay? There's a time and a place, and I'm not gonna say you're never gonna do that, but I think especially at Eels level, we should be more concerned with what I call a transition bunt than these perfect resets that I see a lot of people trying to hit. Can I have one of you guys try to feed me a ball real quick? Okay, so just kind of blast them 70%. This is a good time, when I'm balanced and I'm straight ahead, that ball's coming right at me where I can try to reset that, right? but I'm not going to be so concerned about making that bounce, because look at what's happening. Like, it bounced up, he could do it again, he could do it again, you know what I mean? Like, it just is really tough from this position for me to do that if there's not a couple other things helping me out, right? If my partner's not in an aggressive position, if I'm not moving forward, like, that ball doesn't really do a lot. Now, if I go for that same shot and I am coming forward, yeah, now there's pressure on it, right? But I have to have that, okay? I say that because more times than not, I see a lot of people in transition, we're scrambling a little bit, right? We're struggling, we're not perfectly balanced, right? So hit one to my right here, and if I try to make that thing bounce and then I go to the next spot, like, it's gonna be really, really tough for me. So instead, I just wanna be thinking about keeping it slow and low, okay? I'm not trying to make it bounce. I'm okay with him hitting it out of the air, right? Because as long as I can give myself a little bit of time to get back on balance, like, that's gonna be what I want. So if I'm here, sorry, go again. Just a little bit to the right of me. If I'm here and I'm just keeping it like in play, like, that thing's low and slow. As long as I'm not letting it get up there, it's hard for him to do anything crazy with it, okay? Keep going. So this is like that bunt where I'm just like, if it lands, great. If not, like, I'm fine. Do one more, kind of off the bounce. So, like, it's not about making it bounce, it's more about, like, keeping me in it for the next shot. And eventually, yeah, I can, somewhere in there, like maybe in that second or third, I can try to make it bounce and I'm in a better spot. But I see so many of us, like, missing or popping it up because we're more concerned about the depth than the actual height of it. And that leads to this put away anyways, okay? So with the bunt, I'm thinking about, like, trying to stay super compact. I don't want it to get behind me. It's not like a full stroke or anything like that. It's very much like to the side and out in front. And I'm thinking about being super linear, right? A lot of times I see people resetting, they do this, right? There's this cupping, like, low to high motion. On the bunt, go ahead, feed me another one, please. I'm much more linear, and it's more through the stroke. It's here, right? Yeah, my paddle angle it's not like it's like super close or anything, it's slightly up, but the motion is very linear instead of that, right? That's a very hard thing to execute under pressure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna have you guys kind of in a line, and we'll do like 3 at a time where I'm just feeding you, and then we'll play some points with this too and just get into it. So I'm gonna feed some like right on you, some where it'll be a little bit like a step or two outside of your body, but I want like the target to be like kind of central in front of you. Like, I don't want this ball going anywhere near the line, right? That's where it's like an Ernie thread or whatever else, but you are not thinking about making it bounce, right? If it's on the trajectory that it should be, it's gonna end up like a foot or two behind the kitchen line, okay? So here we go. Yep. Try to keep it a little lower. You're just staying super linear. Good. Less like low to high, Abby, and more wherever you're meeting it, staying with it. So I can be right here and kind of just push through. It'll feel more like a super abbreviated like ground stroke, like crazy, than it feels like a dink has a little bit more loft on it, right? Like, that's a lot of times what people compare it to. They're like, resetting or dropping is just dinking extended. And that is true for certain shots, but this is not that shot, right? This is just like very short, out in front, trying to keep it low. Even slower. This is like a 3, 4 out of 10, even lower there. Yeah. Good, that's a good pace. Less low to high, Abby. Good. Feel yourself just go to the ball. Yeah, just out to the ball. Good. Good. Yeah, if I send you out a little bit further, you're just concerned about kind of keeping it low, a little slower. Let it come to you a little bit more, Jeremy, instead of reaching all the way out to it. A lot of times, this again, you're scrambling, right? You're not going to be able to, there you go, to have all that time out in front of you. Good. Nice. Good. And so now if I feed a ball and you guys try to come in together on this, right? This first bunt. So start back on the first one and then try to come in. Like, you're not going to hit a perfect ball, but you're going to get to where you can hit something a little bit easier, right? That second ball already, Abby has a chance to, if she wants to, she can just make it bounce, right? But from all the way back there, it's hard to get it to bounce every time. Good.
Thanks for sharing that with us. I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that like I think is recent within the last like year or so. Like you're seeing, like Tyra does it really well. You'll see her. She does it kind of unique where she likes to throw up lobs instead of like her first ball being a bunt, and then they hit an overhead, and then she bunts like the overhead. Everybody thinks like she's going lob like ground stroke, but it's a more abbreviated. Like she's back here, and yeah, it's like technically a ground stroke, but now it's like she's going like this and pushing out, right? She's just like boom, and then I get in position for the next one.
I see.
Right? So it's not a full like stroke as much.
Okay.
Let's pick these up and play a couple points.
As we made our way back to Nicaragua, I found myself thinking about how fortunate I am to be doing this, training and competing in pickleball alongside my family. Not many people get that chance in their sport. Along the way, I've met people who I know will be lifelong friends, pickleballers. The community around this sport is something special, and it's great to be part of it. Heading home, there's a lot on my mind, but one thing is clear. My motivation to bring my best in this sport keeps growing. As for what comes next, my dad and I will be in the lab in December, doing lots of consistency drills and cementing what we learned during this trip. Also during this time in our business, Palmera Pickleball, we should be getting to a point of clarity on where we'll be building our facility. More on that in future episodes. And with my dad eyeing a more aggressive tournament calendar for 2026, stay tuned because the journey is just getting started.